Nestled away in the heart of the Ardennes, the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps is one of the most... I don't even know how to describe the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. One of the most iconic, one of the most revered race circuits on this planet. With Eau Rouge and La Source, as well as the downhill section through No Name. And the long back straight near campus all the way down to the bus stop chicane. Oh, that's very deep there for one of the Audis, and someone else goes off into the barrier just ahead as well. But the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps is one of those tracks that everyone knows, everyone has a respect for, and one that everybody, I am sure, I have never met someone that doesn't, that everybody loves. It's a track that has so much history ingrained in it, from the massive layout of yesteryear to the still big but slightly shorter layout of the modern day, hosting both Formula 1 and GT racing at the highest levels, as well as hosting WEC in the real world as well. It is a track that surely does rival the Nordschleife for the amount that people love it, and I can't agree with them more. This is one of those circuits that it is an absolute challenge. Every time you come to it, you have to be prepared for it. And if you're not, you're going to land up in trouble. This is round 5 of the ERS GT3 Championship. We are looking at Soldatov, last race winner, currently in the lead of the championship. He has been an absolute force this season in that purple BMW. And I wonder how we're going to see him go today. His championship rival, Anfried, currently running with the best time in practice, which has just come to a close. And the best time in practice for Anfried was a 1:17.130. The best time for Soldatov was a 1:17.6. These two are at the forefront of the title fight. Soldatov has been an absolute force. He has been on top of his game for the past few rounds. But round 5, the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, I don't know. It's going to be one of these tracks where anything can happen. There is so little margin for error in all of the places that matter. That we'll have to see just what dramas could await us here. We've got a very good showing. 34 drivers on the grid, comprising the majority of manufacturers in Assetto Corsa Competizione. And I'll be bringing you coverage from qualifying in just a moment to the race, which is an hour and 5 minutes with a pit window. So we just see the final car of Kolniazuk coming through the final few corners. I believe he's the only driver to set a lap. No, Clays is also out as well. Note we are at the end of the session as we move over to qualifying. So we see drivers all coming out. We'll jump with Vasily Anfried for his out lap and his first flying lap on board in the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2, the 991 car. Currently in the livery of the 4016 WRT car in the real world. It has the number 46 on it, as ACC does not allow you to change your WRT car. Because, yes. So we'll watch a round with Anfried. After the last round, in fact, I'll quickly talk about the championship standings. Shall I? Konstantin Soldatov is in first position with 125 points. Anfried has dropped down. In fact, it wasn't Anfried who was in the championship fray up the front. I do apologize. It is actually Kolniazuk. He was 2 points behind Soldatov at Suzuka. Soldatov's performances being a 12th and then 3 wins in a row. Komyazuk's being a second, and 2 fourth places in round 1, 2, 3, and 4 respectively, leaving Soldatov on 125 points and Komyazuk on 114. So 11 points separating the two drivers. 11 points, sorry, also separating Maxim Komyazuk from Matthias Kadedzia as well in the top 3, and 22 points separating Kedzia from Soldatov. As we watch on with Anfried, he was the fastest driver in practice, so we will see as he comes through the bus stop chicane. And here we go. Spa is weird. The timing line is there. The start line for the race will be after La Source as he's coming through turn 1 on the brakes. Right-hander hits the curb. Use the curb on the outside as well. Now you get the run down to Rouge and Radion. Turns 3, 4, and 5 according to my track map. Here is the entry to Radion. Hit that curb. Turn 3. Up the middle. Flat. Oh, a little bit of lift. Turn 4. And turn 5 is the left-hander onto Radion. Now down the Kemmel straight. Through turn 6 as well, the right-hander onto the circuit. Then through Lecombe on the brakes. Turn 7, the right-hander. Turn 8, the left-hander. And turn 9 being the right-hander as well. Then the run down the hill to Bruxelles. Turn 10. Off camber, right-handed hairpin. Be quite touchy if you go into it wrong. Then you have turn 11, this left-hander coming up, which is Speaker's Corner. Used to be No Name, as it wasn't named. Then through the double left of turn 12 at Pouon, which really I kind of call a single corner, as the track map does as well, because you are always turning left through it. Then the run to campus, 13, 14, through 13 the right-hander, through 15 the left-hander, and then 15 at Stavelot, and 16 onto the Cubre Paul Frere, up towards Blanchemont at turn 17, this left-hand kink here. Then to 18, one of the most satisfying corners in ACC. You can keep it flat, you got to get the entry right. Now towards the bus stop chicane to finish off a lap here at the Circuit Spa Francorchamps. We'll see what time Anfried sets as he heads across the timing line. For the first time, Gutman goes into pole 2:18.7. Anfried immediately takes it at 2:17.2. And then Svirkov and Pitchik come through. So does Kraling and Catalano as well. And then Gareth Ulin takes pole position provisionally off of Anfried with a 2:17.062. And we'll be wanting to see, here is Maxim Komyazuk, currently not set a time. He is P2 in the standings, 11 points behind Soldatov. He will be wanting to put on a show tonight and get the max amount of points possible, as there is round 5, round 6, and round 7. This round 5, round 6 at the Circuit Porcar, and the final round 7 at Nürburgring. And 3 races and a 11-point gap. Doesn't sound like too much, but you know, it isn't as quick to come down as some people may think. As across the line comes Maxim Komyazuk. He goes into 3rd position, 2:17.6. Not near Anfried and not near Gareth Ulin, really. I'm just trying to find Soldatov, Konstantin Soldatov, currently in P6 at 2:17.9 being his best time. I am sure that is not the best he's going to put in today. In the 911 BMW Sim Racing machine, as we're on board through Lecombe towards Bruxelles. See, he's feeling for the grip all the way through the corner. and all the way through Bruxelles as well. You can just see that wheel turning. It is trying to find the grip everywhere that he can find it. He is trying to find it, and I'm sure he will find it through the corners. As with 8.5 minutes left of qualifying, we are running out of time. You know, I think a 2:17 lap time being pole position at the minute, you know, that's not many laps at all. So we get the beauty shot there. And it shows really how long the track is. I think it's the second sector. The best time there so far is a 60.095, almost 60.1 seconds. You know, that's a minute of time just in sector 2. Soldatov has 9 tenths to find. Thereabouts. Was hard on the brakes through the bus stop. You can see just how much pace that BMW takes and how settled it looks over the curves as across the line. Is it going to be an improvement? I'm sure it will be, but it's not going to be too far up. P4 ahead of his championship rival by 1/10 of a second. Maxim Komjazek, who comes across the line and goes into pole position, a 2:17.035. Soldatov has already gone to the side to make sure he starts a new lap. You don't want to be carrying too much fuel, but you don't want the longest outlap, because that is still about 2.5 minutes just for an outlap. As we see Matthias Kalyansky for the Simulation Esport GT3 Audi R8 Evo 2 number 4 with the squared livery on triangle livery, sorry, on one side, and I'm sure the triangle livery on the other side as well, just in green. As into Pouon he goes. 1.1 seconds off of pole position, about 1/10 off of top 10, about 2 tenths off of Svirkov in 9th. We will, I'm sure, see a lot of battles around this track. There's bits for every car in the circuit that has advantages and disadvantages. The Audi will get a very, very good run down the straight towards Blanchemont and turn 18, and also towards the bus stop chicane. And you can see just how quick that Audi gets. The acceleration of it will also help it out of La Source down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. See, I'll also turn my box off for server protection. Across the line comes Kalyansky. He goes into P9. He'll be wanting more, I am sure of it, but up ahead, Maxim Komjazek coming through the bus stop chicane. Again, it is going to be an improvement. No, it's not, as he gets loose and aborts his lap. That would have been the first 2:16 of the session. In fact, as we see Matteo Capogreco heading around the final corner, P28, across the line he goes into P27. A position is a position. This track is long enough that that you can have those low down starts and still make it up in the race. As we see Manuel Catalano currently in P8, chasing down the 10th he needs to pit check, and probably chasing down the 2 tenths actually he needs to Soldatov as well. With just over 4 minutes left of the session, there will definitely be time for another lap for the majority of the drivers. However, those in the pits may want to be thinking about getting out on the circuit already. We'll see, as you can hear the rev limiter just smacking off on that McLaren as he goes through turn 18. A very nice camera angle there. You can see just how settled that car looks. As down the gears he goes into the bus stop chicane. He is at an improvement. Is it enough, though, to put himself up into P6? Ahead of championship leader Soldatov? I don't think it is going to be, as he lost a lot of time through the bus stop chicane. It was just over by the tiniest amount, and I'm sure that is going to be absolutely gut-wrenching for Catalano, but he'll have 2 laps left to get himself up into a higher position. As someone who has yet to set his first lap is Vasi Grama for Digital Racing Squad. The 333 BMW M4 GT3 car, the big schnozzinator, as a friend of mine calls it. We get a yellow flag for Piervu. Oh, that is a big crash for Piervu. What has happened? Has he lost it up a Rouge and Radion? Oh, he has. He tried to cut it just to keep the car straight, and he hits the barrier. Very good avoidance there from the green McLaren to avoid him, as Abrenhoser comes across to finish up his qualifying session at this point. We've got 2 minutes 17. Komjazuk will have this lap. He's currently in the lead of the race, but that will be the end of the qualifying, I think, for Maxim Komjazuk, who has lost pole. He has also invalidated his lap through Eau Rouge and Radion. He lost pole by 2 tenths to this man, Boris Garafulin. He has taken pole position with 2:16.792. I wasn't sure if we were going to see it today, and we have. What a drive there from Garafulin to take pole position, but he is not safe yet. Komjazuk is still pushing. He is looking to see maybe he can take another lap and be it all or nothing, but the lap that he has done, according to my information, is invalid, and Garafulin is already 3 tenths up on his best lap already. So we will definitely have to see, but I'm not sure if Maxim Komjazuk is going to get through the line in time to actually take another lap. A minute left on the clock. He has come through sector 2. It might be possible, but it is going to be very tight. As a driver who it is not going to be tight for if he can continue this pace is Boris Garafulin. He is currently running 3 tenths above his best time of the session. He is looking to extend that gap to half a second between himself and Komjazuk. Komjazuk does look like he's going to be getting another lap in. That will be his final lap as Anfried heads into the pit lane. Not sure what that was for. So does Vela. Vela has pulled off to finish up his qualifying session. The driver we are all going to be watching with bated breath. He is looking to make that 11-point gap shrink here at Spa. It is Maxim Komjazuk, the number 1 Benzino Audi R8 through La Source. Now, the rundown through Little Kink at turn 2 here on the rundown past the old pit lane. Up to a Rouge and Radion. He is still green. This is where he invalidated his lap the previous time around. Hit the curb, a bit of a lift. Over he goes. The lap is still valid past Eau Rouge, but he is only 200ths up as Garafulin's gone across the line to set 2:16.635, meaning Komjazuk has 4 tenths to make up. As someone that I'm sure will be having a bit of a head shake at this qualifying is Konstantin Soldatov. He's only gone into P5 with 1 lap left. He could jump up to P4, but at current pace, it looks like he may actually be retaining P5, while his championship rival, only 11 points behind, is in P2 and is looking to actually try and chop down the gap to pole position, but with only 2 tenths now through Pouon. I'm not quite sure if Komjazuk is going to be in line for that pole position, but we will see. We have seen it before. We can see it again. As Campanella in P4 is also on his final lap. He is also looking to improve by a small margin, but a small margin he's looking to improve by would be enough to protect P4 from Soldatov, who's currently running at, you know, about 500ths of an improvement, both of them in fact, as Komjazuk comes round at the final few corners towards the bus stop chicane to finish off his lap. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to take pole position. It will be close through the bus stop chicane. Is he going to come across the line and take pole? No, but it was very close, within 0.2. That was a very, very close situation there for Komjazuk, who also breaks into the 216s, the only other driver to do so. 216.807, as there we go across the line goes Soldatov, who stays P5 with that lap. So we are going to need the black box back. So here is your qualifying order. Gareth Fulham will start in pole position at 2:16.635 to set himself up into pole of the race, followed by Komjazuk, only 0.2, just under in it, and 3 in P3, so it's a 2-3 for Audi, followed by Campanella in the 19 Ferrari in 4th. 5th was Soldatov, current championship leader, followed by Forks in 6th. 7th was Pitchik, followed by Kazianski in 8th. 9th was Vela, 10th was Catalano, 11th was Svirkov, 12th was Gutman, 13th was Grama, 14th was Gala, 15th was Yativ, 16th was Ulrich, 17th was Daskalasu, 18th was Wozniaz, 19th was Oliger, 20th was Kraling, 21st was Hildebrandt, 22nd was Clays, 21st is Reyes, 24th is Silrusso, 25th is Savsku, 26th is Anache, 27th is B.F, 28th is Taylor, 29th is Abranhoser, 30th is Siasan, 31st is Capagreco, 32nd is Pirvu, 33rd is Zinc, and 34th is Parks. That we get one of my favourite views in sim racing, as the timing tower is going to go off, as the ACC timing tower does sometimes have a problem. One of my favourite views in sim racing is the cars on the start finish line, mostly because you can see there ACC does a thing where it tries to make it look like they're jacked up, which does not really work. For people who are not used to Spa, we'll jump on the front view actually of Komjazuk. You can see where that green gantry tower is where the start line for this race is, but the finish line is up in the regular Formula 1-esque location before the source. The drivers will run double file down the hill and then be released onto a Rouge as turn 1 and 2 for the first lap. This is going to be a very, very good race. With 1 minute 50 left in the session start time. So 1 minute 30 in fact. I was looking at the stream. We are going to be in for an amazing race today, I do think. I'm just trying to think, where could we see the moves? Where will we see the fighting? Where will we see the attacks? Where will we see the defense? The Audi, I feel, is going to be very strong. There's 2 Audis, in fact, that will crowd that Honda. The straight line speed may be an absolute godsend for these cars, but I think in the corners, the Honda may have a bit of an advantage. We will see as we come to the final 30 seconds before we'll send the cars off for their formation lap. My question will be, will we see any dramas through a Rouge and Rally on the first 2 corners of this lap? Here we go, 10 seconds until the session starts. It's going to be very, very close to cool, I think. as we head off for the formation lap. Gareth Hulin leads us underway for the formation lap as we have a look up and down the grid at the different cars. And Panella starting P4. Soldatov there in the purple BMW in P5. This is going to be close. It's one of the longest formation laps. It's one of the races that will run over the most on the calendar, especially if the timer is very low. When we cross the line with a 2 minutes 16 pole setting lap in qualifying, probably 2 minutes 17, 2 minute 18 race pace lap for the front of the grid. We are due for some very, very good racing, I feel. I don't know if it's going to be very close to call. The Honda looks strong in qualifying, but I'm not sure about in the race. The Audis also look strong in qualifying, but we can't discount Konstantin Soldatov. He's won the previous 3 races on the bounce, and there is reason for this. So we will definitely keep an eye on multiple cars up and down the grid. The battle at the front is going to be very, very tight, I feel. Especially with Anfried in that mix as well up ahead. So an hour and 5 minutes on the clock. We come through Huon for the formation lap. You can see the cars around the grid. Some of them getting some heat into the tyres by weaving left and right, left and right. Speeding up and slamming the brakes as well to try and get just that extra bit of heat into the brakes and inadvertently heat into the tires as well, as brakes obviously radiate heat. Konstantin Soldatov, as I said previously, he's a driver that we will be wanting to watch today. He will be very much fighting near the front, I would say. As he has a few cars to jump between himself and a race win, and a few cars actually to jump between himself and his championship rival at this current time, Tom Yazuk. Let's try and find actually his closest championship rival, who either I'm blind or I cannot actually see him. Oh no, here he is, Matthias Kazianski. I believe, no, it's Matthias Kedzia, actually, who's P2. I'm not actually sure I can see him on the grid today, so there's going to be some ground to that can be gained, actually, I would say, between P4 in the championship, who is Anfried, and also between Komjazuk and Soldatov, especially if the start of the race is anything to go by, as we get ready to go 2 by 2. See the cars forming up there as they go 2 by 2. It will be Maxim Komjazuk who'll get the inside into Rouge, but then it will also be Gareth Hulin who'll get the inside into Radion. Well, actually turn 2, and then it will be Komjazuk who could get the inside into Radion as well, as we line up 2 by 2. Remember, it's not this timing line they start at. It is the next one, as the regular fumbling of the ACC start occurs. 2 by 2. If anything, Anfried was actually a bit out of position there. There we go. We shuffle in a bit better. But we'll definitely see if down towards the first corner, if Komjazuk does jump into the lead as they head through La Source. This is where I lose a lot of time on formation laps. I've actually lost starting battles for it, as 70 kilometers an hour will be the limit as we head down towards the old pit lane. And without further ado, once again I can say the thing: We go green at Spa for round 5 of the ERS Championship. As I expected, Komjazuk will get the inside, but he's had to take to the escape road already. Gets out in front, but I wonder if he's going to have to get that position back, as we see a lot of bouncing around from different cars in the mid-pack. We see Catalano going to the outside of, I'm not actually sure who that is. I think that was Virkov. Vela just up ahead as well. Oh, we see many cars. Someone is round off in the background, one of the BMWs. Oh, there's a big crash there at the start at the chicane. I saw 4 cars involved in that. I'm not sure if there was many more. As Kazianski is on the attack of Vela. He gets the inside through No Name. Vela gets a little bit of a door bang and goes a bit wide. But they are still side by side as they head into Puon. This should be Kazianski upper position there on Vela. Yes, it is. Does Catalano try to come through as well? No, he does not. I thought that door might have been open for Catalano to come through. However, it clearly was not to be for him this time around, but Kazianski saw that opportunity and took it with both hands. We've got another yellow flag. Oliger is off. A few cars are off, in fact. Krayling's also off in the runoff area as well. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but up in the front of the grid, Komjazuk has, I think, given that position back to Garavullin, but he's actually lost himself P2 from Anfriv as well, and now he's under pressure from Fabrizio Campanella, who goes to the inside. Very good defensive move there from Komjazuk to dry the inside on Anfriv, but Anfriv will get the inside through the second part, and so too will Campanella. Almost a bit of contact there. I actually do think there was a bit of contact, and that puts Komjazuk against Soldatov. P1 and P2 in the championship. Soldatov tried looking down the inside at Lasors, but it wasn't quite to be. But Komjazuk will get the inside through Lasors on Campanella once again and move up a position, as we're a bit further down the grid now with Nick Parks, who I think is looking to try and overtake the BMW into Lasors. Is he going to hold it? Yes, he is on the pit talk BMW. He drags him wide, but the other pit talk car is going to gain off of that, as well as Campanella is still looking all over the rear. Soldatov looking to make it 3 wide. Komjazuk, though, was trying to say no, and Soldatov slots back behind as Campanella goes very deep through the chicane. Is he going to come out in front of Komjazuk? No, he's not, but he is going to come out in front of Soldatov. Now, Soldatov is looking all over the rear of that Ferrari. Almost tries it down the inside of Bruxelles, but doesn't go through with it. And all the while, Komjazuk is going to be able to profit off of this in one way or another. Keep in mind, when the pit stop window comes in, Spa has the longest pit stop of the entire calendar as we get the time tower back up. As you can see, the one next to the driver's name indicates how many pit stops they have to make this race. One for all drivers within a pit window. With the gaps as well, Garavullin leads from Anfriv in second, 1.3 seconds separating the two drivers. And 1.4 seconds separating Komjazuk from Anfriv as well. And then the pack, the train behind that, ranges all the way from 3rd place to 11th place, in fact. 8 cars involved in that train. There you go, you can see them all coming through. There's even a few more just outside of the 1 second distance, which I am classing that as 1 second between the next car, not 1 second overall, otherwise they'd be all on top of each other. You see Catalano, he had a decent start. He's now just trying to chase down the rear end of Vela, while also building a gap to Forks in the 27 Audi behind. All the while, people are starting to bunch up just a little bit. As, there is Gutman behind Lucas Virkov in that purple BMW. He had quite a hard crash at Suzuka the last race out, which hurt his chances at the high up finish. I'm sure he'll be wanting retribution today. However, he's currently sat in P12, and I'm not quite sure if this is a track that suits a BMW or not. This is probably, I think, one of the lowest down we've ever seen the BMWs in the championship so far, with a P5. As Komiazuk tries to defend the inside, he drags Campanella inside, in fact. And then that drags Svirkov outside. Svirkov is going to be forced to go around the long way, which doesn't really work there unless you can properly nose the rear through the left-hand kink of that chicane. However, it is not always the case, and it is not always the easiest thing to do. You have to hope that the driver on the inside of you gets a bad exit. But as things currently stand, we're all right. I would say we are all right. With a few battle packs still forming up and down the grid, this battle for P3 is starting to attract some followers. I'll turn my attention over to the chat. I am reading it as often as possible from Ragioli Racing. Wow, yeah, I cannot agree more. That was one of the most intense starts I have ever seen at Spa, and we're only on lap 2, and it is looking very racy for this period of the race. As we see Campanella, he is still trying to find his way around Komiazuk. He's in the draft. That Audi does give off a very good slipstream by the seams of it. Is he going to go to the outside? He is indeed on the brakes, into the braking zone. The Audi will get the inside for the first part. A little bit of contact forces the Ferrari to cut across. Komiazuk is going to move out in P3 after that corner again. That was some very, very close wheel-to-wheel combat. As we see Jonas Fox, he's trying to increase his position in the race. He's got 4 tenths under-ish to catch up to Catalano. As we head on to the start of lap 4, already a car in the pit lane. It is one of the other Audis. I'm not quite sure who that one was. Not quite sure. It's Zink, who's just waiting at the pit exit for his gap. Very, very good, very good respectful driving there from him to wait until there's a gap. As just while we were mentioning this, Campanella has been overtaken by Soldatov. Soldatov will now have 1.3 seconds to gain between himself and Komiazuk as it currently stands. And Campanella is going to be under pressure from Pitchik in the Ukrainian coloured Audi behind, and Izyansky in the black and green Audi behind that as well. The Audis are looking ravenous today. So we've got a yellow flag somewhere about the place. I'm not quite sure. Oliver and Dascalao have both pitted in. Not quite sure what that was for. Doesn't look like there's any damage. I think they may have just tele-pitted. As Gloop in the chat, Team 54, Daniel Vella in the blue, red and white Audi there just on your screen. He's looking, he's got a second to catch Kazianski, who will be slowed up by his move against Pitchik that will be coming. Vella has also, however, got both Forks and Catalano behind, looking very racy as well, all within a tenth of each other. You can see they are absolutely nose to tail as they head through turn 18. Will Catalano try down the inside of Vella here at the bus stop chicane? No, he won't. He stays behind for now. But oh, there is a Forks there just up the outside. Actually, what a move there for the Audi driver. He went up the inside. He saw the gap to gain the inside through the second part. That is a move that we can all respect, as he has actually made it work. Is now on the rear wing of Konstantin Soldatov. A second to catch Komiazuk in front of him. However, Campanella looking very, very feisty on the rear end. They had their overtake last lap, and we may see another one. But we look down the straight. The Ferrari doesn't seem to be getting as much of a slipstream effect off of the BMW as he was the Audi. I'm not quite sure if that's just because the Audi's running a higher wing and higher aero, which equals more drag than Soldatov is, or if it may just be the way that the cars provide different amounts of reduction in drag around the straights. However, 3/10 separating Campanella from Soldatov. This will be close. Was on the brakes through Huon. Not quite sure. Soldatov is looking like he is slowly dragging that gap down. However, I'm not quite sure if that gap is dragging down or if it's just as they're entering and exiting corners at the same time. It could be 6 or 1 and a half dozen of the other. You do never know in motorsport, especially when you get a timer and your eyes. As we'll now see down the straight on the rear wing of Konstantin Soldatov's BMW, you can hear the low grumble of that BMW. I think it's a straight 6, an inline 6, mounted longitudinally. However, I could be wrong. As on the brakes, you see that Ferrari is closing up through the bus stop chicane. However, who will get the better exit out of it to go on to start lap 5? The laps for the two drivers, the three drivers really in the battle for P3. It was a 2:17.8 for Komjazov, 2:17.9 for Soldatov, and a 2:18.1 for Campanella. So it's definitely got legs for that to be a very interesting battle when it comes down, as we're on the front end of Oliver Gayler's car. He's chasing down Gutman ahead, who get very loose there actually through Radion. Now we see Stefan Kraling. He's chasing the rear of Abron Hoser. I believe that is indeed Abron Hoser. So Kraling, the 68 car, chasing the rear of Abron Hoser as they run down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. For the 5th time of asking for these two drivers, through they go. They're not going to go too wide through it. That, I would say, is a smart idea. A BOP update earlier in the week, I believe it was, or earlier last week, saw the Aston Martin V8 Vantage gaining some extra power between, I think it was 3,000 and 6,000 RPM. However, I could be wrong, but I'm sure it's somewhere around that. What's the word? That region, as Forks almost tries it down the inside of Vela. He has to completely mount the curb through that to avoid contact. That was very close. He is right over the rear bumper and the rear wing of Vela's car as they head onto the long straight once more. As they head towards Blanchimont once again, then turn 18. This is where Audis seem to be strong, as this back straight, a bit more curb there for Forks than for Vela, and I couldn't quite see how much brake Catalano was taking, as maybe a look there. Forks got that amazing move earlier on down the outside actually at the bus stop chicane, and he made it work as well, so you can't really complain if he makes the move work. I surely can't anyway. It looks like they're all just trying to stay a bit safe. For now, we're on the rear wing of Itmar Yativ, the number 26 Audi. He's got Rares behind the Israeli driver, I believe. See, that BMW is closing up. That's Steve Taylor as well. He's chasing down Abron Hoser now, so I think Kraling must either be a lap down or had a collision somewhere earlier on. That was not for position apparently on the rear end of Abron Hoser earlier on. But there he is, a bit more up the road, so we'll see Dustin McLaren get the straight line speed over the Aston Martin. He's had a very, very sketchy run up Eau Rouge into Radion. We'll see as we head down the straight. This gap is very, very close now to the inside as we head down their Camel straight. He'll get the inside into Lecum as well, and I think Abernhoser won't get the inside into 8 and 9 at the exit of Lecum. No, he has not at this point, so that's Steve Taylor up into 26th position. I am sure that will be one that he will be absolutely delighted about, because he's got just a tiny amount of time to catch up to Parks. However, he will have a 10-second pit stop to take in. He will have a 10-second penalty, I should say, my apologies, in the pit lane to take. And there will be a lot of time, I do think, for him to gain here, as we're now back with Jonas Fawkes. This battle for P10 has almost gained a Svirkov just in the background there in the black Audi. Vela still leads from Fawkes and Catalano, and Svirkov just outside of the 1 second mark there to be technically classified as involved in this battle, as we head up Rouge and Radion once again for the 7th time of asking for these drivers. Might have been a little bit of a track limit. No time gain for Fawkes at the top of Radion. Gap for these drivers is 4 tenths. 4 and 3 tenths for Fawkes and Catalano respectively. As they now head down towards turn 10. The Bruxelles hairpin. Once more, 47 minutes thereabouts left of today's race. A pit window as well to come soon. Which always shakes up the order, as we've got a yellow flag for Clays. Clays is round, in fact. So let's have a gander at what happened to Dan Clays. Oh, he's just lost it on his own on the exit of turn 9 outside of Lecum. He's nosed into the wall. Good avoidance there from the BMW, and the Audi and the BMW there. I think of Yativ and Rares getting through as well, as they arrived at that incident long after it ended. And up now, there is a big crash there in the background for one of the BMWs. I'm not quite sure who that is, but he is off. But we've got a battle. Campanella will get the inside through Blanchimont and through turn 18. Soldatov is reserved to go to the outside. Will he try to go to the inside and copy what Fawkes did last time round? No, he won't, because Campanella gave that apex a little bit of an opening, and Soldatov took it. Very, very good attacking and then defensive driving from Fabrizio Campanella to keep Soldatov at bay. And I'm sure Komjazuk will be looking in his mirror going, yes, this is exactly what I need. Soldatov stuck between a Ferrari before even getting to me, and the gap there being 2.8 seconds. That is something that, if you are trying to cut down a championship lead, is the kind of thing that you dream of. Now the BMW, he will go inside down the Camel Straight. This should give him the inside into Lecum this time round, as they will go side by side. I think Soldatov will have P3 once again, but Campanella has shown that he has the pace to fight. Maybe not, as Campanella drifts the car. There is contact. Campanella almost round. Soldatov gets his way through, and Campanella's under attack by Kazianski, who almost loses it on the exit of turn 9. And Pitchik almost gets the opportunity to get past both of them. I thought Fabrizio Campanella had the line there. He went deep, but I thought maybe if he can control the car and grab the inside curve all the way round, that he would hold it from Soldatov. But with a bit of a door bang and Soldatov going wide and a little bit looser from Campanella, Soldatov very much took that position with both hands. But there is not a huge deal of time between two drivers. 4 tenths. This is about where it was earlier, before we saw that battle underway. I do apologize. Once again, down the straight through turn 18, Campanella is all over the rear end of Soldatov, almost looked to the inside of the bus stop chicane. Thought better of it. In fact, you want the outside into the entry because the inside through the second part is a lot more valuable, I would say, for a racing line. Now, will Campanella try down the inside at La Source? He did look, but he fought against it in the end. That might be a good move. Hold behind up a Rouge and Radion. Get the best run and draft down the Camel straight and go to the inside of Soldatov into Lacombe. There's a bit of a cut track there for Campanella. That might actually be a full track limit warning. I'm not quite sure. I don't think he is going to have the speed in the draft to get the inside into Lacombe. No, he's not, as here we hit the braking zone. He has not quite got the legs on that Ferrari to take the inside line and take the position off of Soldatov. But they are very, very close together. It's a bit further back. Jonas Fawkes has got the position off of Dean Vella. We just missed it. Vella now under pressure from Catalano, who goes to the outside of Bruxelles. It's a move that doesn't always work. It could actually open him up to Svirkov just behind as well, who is now very much ingrained in this battle as Vella holds his position through turn 10 at Bruxelles and turn 11, and I think he'll hold it through Pouhon as well the entirety of turn 12. Here is the start of turn 12. Here is the end of turn 12. Very, very good amount of running as Bebeth and Clays head into the pit lane, and Taylor side by side with Abranhoser into Lacombe. Taylor showing that the inside works better than the outside there as he holds on to P23. So both of those cars are showing significant battle scars. I would say it's a bit further back. Catalano has got an absolute run on the back of Dean Vella. We're on the rear wing. You can just see cars lining up. A bit of a lift there from Dean Vella. That isn't going to help him, I don't think. Into the bus stop chicane. Where is Svirkov going to drive? Where is Catalano going to drive? Catalano tries the outside. A bit of contact. Will he get the inside? Vella's round. Vella is round. A bit of contact there between himself and Catalano. We are going to jump on an interior view for this. You can see he goes inside, a bit of a door bang, goes the outside, collects the rear quarter panel of Dean Vella on the exit. And Dean Vella is round, and he's lost out now to P12 with a 2.1 second gap between himself and Gala in 11th. And a bit further up, once again, we see Campanella going wheel to wheel, toe to toe with Konstantin Soldatov. And this time around, Soldatov comes out on top. And this, I will keep saying, has helped Komniazuk no end, as now that gap sits at 5.7 seconds between the two championship rivals. Also, thank you to Fabinator in the chat. They seem to come. It was one of the ones that I couldn't quite anticipate, which are always the worst ones, aren't they? The ones that just sneak up on you and go rah, and you're like, ah. They're like, rah, and it's quite funny. As with 40.5 minutes left, the pit window should be opening soon. Now remember, a 2-minute 17 lap. I think over a minute pit stop time as well. There is going to be, I think, some moving about, some people gaining the advantage off of a pit stop. I will be honest, I cannot wait to see how these battles unfold. As there we go, the pit window's open, a 15-minute pit window. The drivers can take their required pit stop as Pitchick goes directly into the pit lane for his pit stop. I am going to just quickly have a gander at how long Pitchick is in the pit lane for. Now, without damage, I think flat tyres in ACC are 30 seconds, as I think that's Svirkov there in the background as well, going into the pit lane. So too has Vela. I will keep my eyes on how long Pitchick is in the pit lane. I mean, he's not even at his box yet, and he's already been in the pit lane for half a minute. So it does show as Martin Ulrich is on the back of Vasi Grama, 6/10, separating the two drivers. Pitchick still hasn't boxed, and now his pit stop's almost at well, it's almost now at 50 seconds, in fact. So we see the battles opening up. So Pitchick to his box is going to look like just about a minute, as Konstantin Soldatov is still fighting that 19 Ferrari of Fabrizio Campanella behind him. Here is Stefan Kraling. So Pitchick took a minute and 12 seconds to get into his pit box. Wow. That is an absolutely huge amount. As his stop is going up to 20 seconds now, so we'll see if he has any damage as well. But many drivers, I think, wanting to decide to pit in earlier than rather than later. There's a 32-second pit stop for Pitchick, giving him a total pit stop time, line to line, of a minute and 40 seconds, 47. That's probably about 5 or 6 seconds up to the line as well. So that's, you know, a massive amount of time in the pit. So choosing when to pit will be absolutely crucial to the drivers as Fabrizio Campanella comes into the pit. Soldatov has stayed out for another lap, and so too have all the cars up in front. I'm sure we won't see the end. That won't be the end of this battle. Here is Boris Garafulin, who is your current race leader, has yet to pit, however, in the 118 Honda. Almost 4 seconds between himself and Anfriv. As there is Anfriv just appearing. And there is Komjazak as well, who is starting to chop that gap down between himself and Anfriv a little bit, but it sits still at 3.2 seconds. Is on board with Oliver Gala. I don't know, some drivers have got drive-throughs and penalties. Clays has got a drive-through penalty for I'm going to expect an earlier collision in the race. But Siosan will go past one of the cars that's in the pit lane. He's currently running P10. He has yet to pit, so he's made 2 pit stops. He's made 2 places, sorry, not 2 pit stops, 2 places up through pit stops. So too, I guess, will Nick Parks as well. I'm sure he'll make up some positions in the pit lane. He's currently 18th. We'll see as he runs down past the old pit lane how that changes. 17th, 16th, 15th. He's gained 3 positions in pit stops. I'm not quite sure. It's going to be, I think, very, very close as the race goes on. There's not really any battles to talk about as the pit stop seems to stop that just a bit. Here is Itmar Yativ for the 26 car, the Iranian racer. I believe that's the Iranian flag. I do apologize if it is not. I believe it is. No, it's not. Jesus, what one is it? Can't remember. Can't remember. I'm really bad at flags. Israeli, that's it. Israeli. I really do apologise when he comes around to watch the stream. I'm really bad at flags. I failed geography 4 times, so. We are grabbing some cars around the place. Pit stops have come in, which does seem to build the gaps up a little bit as things fall into place. I'm wondering where the best pit stops will be coming in, what time, with 9 minutes just under left of the pit window. Ole Pitchik has pitted. He's also right on the rear end of Campanella again, as they were before the pit stop window came into place. I'm sure they'll jump back up. Campanella was in P5 as they raced on. They may also, in fact, jump Soldatov in the pits too, which I'm sure would not be what Soldatov would want to see. Where is Soldatov in the pit lane? He has just left. So they won't jump Soldatov, but I'm sure they'll be quite close to him. There he is, just on the exit of the pit lanes. I think he will grab maybe a bit of an advantage off of the pit stop, but not by a whole lot. 1.7, 1.6, 1.5, 1.4. Probably about 1.4 seconds thereabouts between Campanella and Soldatov. So Soldatov has gained a little bit of time in the pit box off of Fabrizio Campanella and Ole Pitchik. So Komjazuk and Kaczynski have also pitted in. However, both Garafulin and Anfried, as well as Forks, have yet to box. I'm sure we'll see this battle holding up once again, as it has been throughout the majority of the race. They are now back all within striking distance of each other. 5 tenths separating Fabrizio Campanella from Konstantin Soldatov. 1.1 seconds separating Pitchik from Campanella. So I think he may have made a mistake somewhere throughout the last few corners. But here we go again. This battle is on once more. Soldatov versus Campanella on the back wing of the 911 BMW. See, that Ferrari is looking increasingly closer. Where's he going to go? That's the question. He's going to look outside because Soldatov holds that inside. We've seen the outside line work. Contact between the Ferrari and the BMW. Campanella will let Soldatov back through. That is good racing. Gives up any advantage that he gained off of that contact. Also stays behind through La Source. So that was some very good sportsmanship. So we will be seeing the battle occurring once again. There is Kaczynski, who's slotted into the middle of the battle. In fact, so Kaczynski may help Soldatov gain a bit of a gap between himself and Campanella as the Audi and the Ferrari fight. As we see the cars going nose to tail. Soldatov not building as much of a gap as I thought, as Kaczynski and Campanella haven't really been able to fight at this point. Pitchik has managed to gain a bit back on the Ferraris. Oh, almost to the inside. Very lately pulls out of it. Into the second chicane. Caminella is looking exactly everywhere that he can try and make the move. That Audi is looking extremely wide. We'll see. That Ferrari is still looking all over the rear, but the more they battle, the more they will slow each other up. A few drivers still left to pit in, but the majority of them, I think, will have pitted in at this point. Bebeff is going to have a fun time in the pit lane, I would think, as well. He's got a 10-second penalty, which gets added onto the pit stop time. Clays has a drive-through. I believe has to be taken first. I think it's about a minute and 14, minute and 15 seconds in the pit lane, dependent. I think the longest pit lane in GT racing in both distance and time. Yeah, I'm sure the drivers will love. But we are back with this battle. Campanella versus Kazyansky. You can see Audi versus Ferrari. He's going to try down the inside of Bruxelles. That was not going to work. That door was shutting, and closed. See 3 temps between the Audi and the Ferrari. As never mind, because he is just disconnected. Are we possibly having problems? I'm not too sure. As we see Hildebrand chasing down the rear end of Bebeff. He's on the rear end of that Ferrari. And he is looking very much to get ahead. However, at this point, the Ferrari has gone in for its pit stop, so that puts Stefan Hildebrand into the lead. I'm also not sure. We've had a lot of drivers drop out. Maybe a server issue. Not too sure. Not everyone's gone, however. Looking at the chat, the drivers are still going around the place. However, yeah, I think we may have seen quite a few drivers crashing out. So we drop further back down the field. Andrei Savsku against Siasan against Reyes in the background there. Just a bit between the second around all of them. We'll see. Does Savsku try down the inside at Lacombe? No, he does not. we'll see. The gaps are still looking quite close with 24 minutes left of today's race. And Free up in P2. Solatov actually and gain some time as Maxim Komyazuk is down in 20 seconds. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. I'm wondering if we can get any idea of what happened. Doesn't look like he was involved in any collisions, so I think it's possible he could have just lost it on his own. And 20 seconds after running in P3 ahead of his championship rival is not what you would have wanted to see. As a bit further up, Opera Rares is looking at the outside of La Source on Andrei Savsku. This does not work. However, with the pit window having closed, 23 minutes and change left of today's race. So, I'm just trying to look up and down, seeing where we may see a bit of drama occur. Not much has occurred, however, at this current moment in time. I'm just looking through the chat. Due to technical difficulties with our stewarding software, live stewarding cannot resume for today's race. Please report any incidents onto SimGrid. However, nothing saying about server issues. It's fine, so we'll assume that everything is fine and continue as we were. So we'll see. These BMWs are looking very racy against each other. About a second separating the final one from the first one. Little battle pack having appeared. Jump onto the rear wing of Siason on the green BMW. He's grabbed a little bit of time away from himself after cutting the top of the hill. We'll see, that puts Savsku on the ability maybe to try down the inside at Lecoum. No, he does not. He stays behind for just a little bit longer. But they will look now. Rez has been opened up on the back of Savsku through Speaker's corner, but that gap has extended out again. These BMWs being very nose to tail with each other. As a bit further up, the Bentley of Ulrich is on the back of the BMW of Vasi Grama. As they head through turn 18 up towards the bus stop chicane. We'll have again a Willy look up the inside. No, he stays behind for now. Probably one of the smarter moves that could be made there. will see 3/10 separating the Bentley from the BMW as they head up Eau Rouge. There's a yellow flag. It's Ulrich. He's gone off. That's going to extend that gap out by quite a decent amount, I would say. Now see Reyes. Is he going to try down the inside at Eau Rouge? No, he's not. He's going to stay behind once again. Dean Vella under attack by Hildebrand behind as well. That is a bit of a battle. In fact, Audi versus Lamborghini. It'll be a very tasty one. The V12 Grunt of Lamborghini versus the V10 Angry Bee in a Can of the Audi R8. Germany versus Italy. Two very iconic GT car manufacturers as well. Audi with the fated R8 line and Lamborghini with the fated Huracan and Gallardo lines. We'll see, 17.5 minutes left. There's not long left of today's race that could be spent trying to get a position. As I have server issues now. What is the purple time? Purple time is best lap of the race. We will see if we can grab it back. As I think maybe we will have problems, but we will see indeed. So we will go into the, whatchamacallit, the intermission screen, and I'll be back, hopefully once we gain back connection to the server. So as I come back from downstairs, the race will be ended there with 77% of the race completed. Full points will be awarded to the drivers. The previous lap will be taken as the result. So until next time, I will say thank you very much for watching. My name has been Husky. I wonder if I can grab the results quickly from the previous race. That would be handy, wouldn't it? Round 5. We are currently in. No, I'm afraid not. So until next time, I've been Husky. Thank you very much for watching. From me and everyone at the European Racing Series, join us next week for round 6 at GPORTAL. Until then, goodbye.